Okay, YouTube. Here is a 2012 S1000R. I know I've done a lot of work on these, but there's quite a few in the area, and they've all kind of want the same thing. So I installed a switch for the dual tune from the Bazzaz, and so from that switch, or where I put that switch, I thought was a pretty cool idea. So I figured I'd go ahead and make a video in case anybody else wanted to do the switch. This one has a weird back seat. It doesn't have the key for it to take the seat off, so it's got these two screws. One's missing, but we're going to take the screw off here, and we're going to be removing the tail fairing because that's where I'm going to put the switch in it. It's going to be in the tail. So this is the proverbial T25 bolt, and then we have one back here for this rear seat, which normally you would have a key for the back seat to take it off, but this doesn't. Now the screws would still be here normally, even if you took the seat off, so you'd have to take those two screws out. So that just comes off here. Alright, so your map switch is when it's connected like this. So you don't necessarily need a switch. You can just have this in here like this, and then you can just pull it out like that, and that changes it to your second map. Now what I'm going to be doing here is I'm installing a switch so that the circuit is closed when the switch is connected, and then open when it's disconnected, obviously, because that's how switches work. But then you won't have to disconnect and reconnect that. We'll just be able to take the seat off and flip the switch. Now this is the switch that you'll need. It's very specific for this switch because of where we're going to be putting it. Alright, so I think they got it from AutoZone. They carry it, which is SW14425. Alright, so you have this one's broken tab here, which is very common. I see a lot of the BMWs that I work on all have this broken tab right here. This here, and then you have three on each side. Okay. And where I have his Bazzaz put in was right here, so it's just out of the way, and he still has his trunk space. I did a video on how to install Bazzaz, I think on this actual bike, but so it might have been a different one, I'm not sure. But I run it underneath the frame rail there, the subframe rail. So this is actually where we're installing the switch, is right here, inside there. Now I'm gonna have to do a little bit of grinding with or filing with a Dremel or something to get down some of the weld that's right here. You can kind of see it there. So I'm gonna get rid of some of that weld, and then this switch will just kind of slide right in there. Alright, so I'm gonna take off these 6 screws on each side, or 3 screws on each side, 6 total, and then show you how to take the fairing off. So now I've got all the screws taken out. Alright, so what we got to do first is you're going to go right in here, and in that little spot right there you can see this little like tab, and so we're going to get behind this little plastic like there, and we're going to pry it forward gently. I don't want to break anything, but as it pops loose you'll see that the plastic comes up. So you just kind of do that on both sides, just gently pop that forward. Alright, you'll see it's these little holes, or big holes, and there's like a little hook underneath it. Okay, so you're just popping those tabs off so you can free up the front of it. Once the front's free, you can kind of pop the sides free. A little jiggle usually does that, does the trick. Now the back is where it's a little bit tricky, so you're going to pull backwards a little bit and then forward. You got to unhook the tab. There's like little hooks underneath the back, and you don't want to pry against the paint or anything like that. So just kind of got to get right against the back, and but the tab goes forward. So if you pull back too hard, you will break it. There we go. You see how that shape there? So there's two options. So one, you can take this pin out here. So I just can get a flathead screwdriver underneath there, just kind of wiggle underneath there and pop it out. No big deal, just pops right out. Now you can run the wires through there, which I can show you how to do, or we can drill a hole right here, which is what I'm doing because he doesn't want this in here loose. And I'm going to drill a hole right here in the subframe on the inside, and I'll run the wires out and underneath. So in order to do that, we're going to remove all three of these little plastic tabs here. So there's one here, and one here. Alright. They'll come out pretty much the exact same way. Just get underneath the plastic that it's holding down, and you're going to pry it out. Just like that. So I've kind of got set up a little bit here. Use this this drill bit here, which is a 15/16 or 15/64. That's because it's roughly about the same size as this hole here, just a tad bigger. I'm going to use a Dremel for this Dremel here, with this bit. Let's see, there we go. You can get the bit from Home Depot, Lowe's, something like that. So this will be used from here to be able to knock down the little corner there so that the switch fits. Also, what I'll be using it for is I use it to start this spot right here so that the drill bit has like a pilot hole, so that I'm not just, you know, wandering all over the place with the drill bit. Small shop vac that's going to collect any of the shavings, because I don't just want shavings all over the place. So, alright. It just slides right in there. Isn't that clean or what, man? The little pilot guide here started. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill this out and come right back. Alright, so we're back. Drill bit skipped around a little bit, put some scratches on it, but it's not bad. I used to have a nice right angle drill bit, but I broke it. So there's a hole. And just keep in mind, you don't want to go too low, because this is a separation of two frames. So you kind of want to get just above the bottom of the frame rail there, or in the middle, somewhere in this area, if you're going to drill it. If not, you can use this hole here, and it's just as fine, or just as good. So we'll be fishing the wire through there, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Alright, so now we're back. What I found works best for me, and some people will disagree, I'm sure, speaker wire. Now you can take can't even get this thing to focus. Alright, so there we go. Alright, I just have speaker wire laying around. You can take regular wire and you can run 2 wires in there. The reason that I like using speaker wire is because it's already connected. Big enough gauge to run enough current. There's how small gauge the wire that is there. It should be fine. So instead of trying to go in from here, so you can't hook your switch up yet, just have an ample amount of speaker wire, and then push it in from the bottom. You want to have like a small angle to it so it doesn't get caught up, and you want to have the hook kind of going upwards. So when you put it in, it guides that wire up. You just kind of push it up. And you have to kind of like wiggle it a little bit, and I can kind of sort of see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it because cameras aren't necessarily the same. So I can kind of see it. I'm gonna take me a little hook pick. And you can use a hook pick, or maybe a pair of needle nose pliers, or something along those lines. They also have a little grabber tool that you can use once you get it through. You get your hand on it, a pair of pliers on it. Just don't pull real hard. You want to like guide it in, because you don't want the edge of the metal to tear the sheathing and it to be grounding out on anything. So you just want to be real gentle pulling it through, kind of wiggle it a little bit, and make sure that it comes through easily. Now, I have a lot of wire on both ends here now, so I fed it through. That gives me enough that I can like amply work on stuff and, you know, make my terminal connections. So these are the type of terminals that I use here. I'm going to use these, and then I'll put them on there, and then I'm going to heat shrink them on. I don't like to use the ones that got the big plastic connectors on it. I just don't like it. So let me do that. Alright, so here is the connector. I put it on there and heat shrinks on there so that it's nice and solid connection. And then, so that the two terminals don't touch each other, I'm going to slide a larger tube. I'm going to leave a little bit over the end, because when it shrinks down. And so alright, so we've got our two terminals connected here. We already ran through the tubing, so I'm going to slide this back through. Yeah, same way I put it in. Before I do that, I'm going to show you a switch here. It's got like two silver and like a gold or copper color. The copper color is the one we're not going to be using, to make sure that your terminals are right. So with the switch in the on position, I'm going to hold it here, and you're going to touch the other one, and you turn the switch off. No sparks, switch off. Sparks, and the switch on. So that means that the terminals on the plug are in the correct positions. Up will be the fuel map, and down will be the race map, the race fuel. I'm just feeding this back through until I get the switch where I want it to be. Get all the extra wire out of here so it's not confusing. Alright, so now I have the switch where I want it. This is the up, which is on, is in the up position towards the gold one. Alright, and then I'm going to leave it a little bit of extra wire like this, in case I ever have to replace the switch or anything like that. And then I'll use that extra wire then. And I just put it down in there. Just a little bit of extra wire in there. Now the switch is hooked up and it's wired. So now all we have to do is we're going to run this two wires here, split these, and give it a little bit of extra wire here. So probably connect it like right there, and then plug it back in, and we're done. Just reassembly of the rest of the bike. Alright. So we've got our wires connected here, got our switch in place. Now we're just going to run this through here, you know, one-handed. Oh, it's testing me. Alright, like that. Flip this around. Boom. It's installed. So now it is all tucked in and clean looking. Wires coming through the frame right there. switch in the back. And that's going to be the regular pump gas. This will be the MR12. So I'll leave it on the pump gas and start the assembly. Reassembly. Just kind of putting that in there. Alright, so we got it back in. And got our pins put back in. Up here. And Bazzaz I'm going to put on the inside here. Like that. And then we're going to start putting everything back on. Snap that together there. This together there. And just snap it together all the way around. Sides. And then the same way we took it apart and put it back together, so you kind of press that down. Snaps in. Both sides. That snaps in, and we're just gonna put these 8 screws back in. This here, gonna tuck back like it was. Now, with this one, I have it tucked in here so you can use his trunk because that's the way I wanted it. Now, his allows him to do that because of the way his seat cowl is. A regular seat wouldn't allow it, so it has to be pushed down much further, like this. Which pushes up on this a little bit, but you really can't tell. So it's just bevels out a little bit, but allows the seat to come down and clear. But I like it because it's out of the way. You have your seat in here, or you have your trunk space, which little you have, so if you ever wanted to put anything in there, it's nice to have. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to put these, most bikes will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 screws that hold the tail together, and then the 2 for the seat. So 12 more screws and it's going to be done. This is how the switch looks. I think it's kind of cool, kind of incognito type thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll do one more, showing the bike back together, but I can't take the seat off and on because the 2 screws are required to be removed from this one. So alright, so we got our screws back in there, and then you got 3 on the other side. Your seat goes back in here, like that. Kind of sort of how it'll be. There you go. That's how that'll be there. Let's bolt holding it down. Just pull it off and reach right inside and flip the switch. So, kind of a cool spot, I thought. I figured I'd make a video showing how to install one, and if anybody else would like to do it. So, hope this helps. Hope you all liked it. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.